Okay, we're back with Joe Gibbs of Social Market Analytics. Sorry about that, Joe. I'm just trying to figure out this whole Skype thing. How you doing this morning?
I am doing fantastic. How are you guys doing today?
Okay,
We're
we're
doing
doing.
very well here, Joe, and we're excited for some social sentiment here this morning.
We got a nice mix today. We've got actually once again we got a positive bias in the market. But what's interesting on the short side, before we get into individual names, is that three of the top five negatives this morning are healthcare stocks,
Whoa.
which is kind of unusual. So in the healthcare sector this morning on the negative side, we have Jazz Pharmaceuticals, JAZZ, another healthcare called Kerix Biopharmaceuticals, KERX,
Okay, all right.
and then NPSP.
NPSP?
Yep.
NPS
Yeah.
Pharmaceuticals.
Yeah. So those, which is really interesting because you normally don't get that kind of concentration. So I thought that was very, very interesting. But we only have actually five statistically significant negatives this morning. So there's a definite upward bias in the market this morning, guys.
All
And
right,
and
all right.
what's the big ones on the upward bias you're seeing
All
there,
right.
Joe?
So there's some interesting ones in the list. The list has been moving around. There's been a lot of jump this morning, so a lot of stocks moving in and out. We've got a nice mix of names that you're certainly going to recognize and some that aren't so popular. So number one with a 4 S score and a 4 SV score, so high sentiment measured by where it is on that standard normal curve. So the current conversation is 99% more positive than normal. Is PPO. Polypore International. It's an industrial goods company.
Light volume this morning, but it is picking up steam here. I don't know if there was news. I'll go check the Benzinga wire here, but it just traded up to 36.99, which would put it up a couple of bucks here. So, and actually, if you look at that 36 number there, Joel, that would be breaking out big time here.
Yeah,
And yes, they did report there last night 30 cents versus 32, so it looked like a slight. Is that last night? Yeah,
And
last
and there is a upgrade. So they're talking about upgrades this morning. So there are a
DA
number of
Davidson.
analyst upgrades coming in.
wow, really light volume though. The initial spike there took it up to $38. Stopped there right on the nose. Since then, we've pulled back to 36.50. Really
Now we
small.
just went 37.40 on Joe Gits comments, so we got some high frequency bot listening to Joe Gits on the pre-market show, and it just bought it up at 37.40 on Joe's call there.
There you go. Number two, MDRX, Allscripts Healthcare. It's a technology. It's called Technology Solutions. Is what they do, and that is again really high sentiment with really high volume.
On the bullish side, okay, yeah. I mean,
Yeah, I don't,
this one, this one looks a little bit more tempting than the other one because it's up so much. This one kind of been coiling down here at the bottom, and now you're getting a breakout. Now, have you seen? I mean, is this the first day that you've had the sentiment on this stock or not?
yeah, we haven't had a whole lot of activity on this prior to today. Let me pull up a little bit. Let me pull up a little bit longer history.
Because
They did,
that's come down hard, and now you're getting a breakout over the $16 level. This one, if you're looking at yesterday's range, really not that far away from the yesterday's high. Actually had a double top at 1569, 1576. Closed kind of weak, 1499. I mean, if you're not afraid of it going down to settlement, buying it at yesterday's high, this one has some potential coming down from the $20 level.
Yeah,
they
and
did
it just went positive this morning at 6 a.m.
They did report earnings last night too at 426. They reported earnings of 7 cents versus analyst estimates of 7 cents. Revenue was a bit light, 340 million versus 347 million, but everybody on the street looks like they were leaning the other way here. Analysts all over this morning. ISI Group upgrading the stock but lowering the price target to 1750. You got SunTrust moving their price target, JP Morgan, Baird, FBR Capital, B. Riley, Oppenheimer, Piper Jaffray, Barclays all moving their price targets around. So a lot of analyst action on this thing here today too.
Cool. HK, HK, HK Oil and Gas Drilling, and that's a lower price stock.
What's
Again,
the
high
symbol on
sentiment,
this
high
one?
volume.
H.
HK?
Oh, Halcon
Henry,
Resources. Halcon Resources.
yeah, I have his HALC. It could be.
No,
Yeah.
it's it's HK.
Halcon Resources.
Yeah,
Yeah.
HK. He's got it right, Dennis. Yep, HK. This one's. Whew. Did you
Been
have
breaking
this
out.
on? Yeah, did you have this?
Wow.
Did you have this on your radar yesterday, or just
Yeah, let me
today?
see. Yeah, let me go back and look at. Let me go
Yeah,
back and look at that one. I just pulled up a chart of that one.
yeah. Yesterday was the day. Had to gap up. Didn't really leave you a huge gap. 548 to 552. Really been hanging out that 550 level. This thing might have some legs on it. If you're
Yeah, it's
looking,
been
yeah.
positive for 2 days. It's
Oh,
been pegged at. It went yesterday morning 6 a.m. to 3.5. So it's been nothing but positive news about this one. That's a good point. So for next week, I'm going to talk about sentiment the prior day too. We'll bring that into the conversation. Now here's one that you guys, everyone out, CBS.
yeah. Actually, J Dot was asking about that. What's going on with CBS?
Earnings.
Is that what it is? It's
Yeah.
3.8 and 4.02.
Okay, I mean this stock's had a nice haircut, huh, Dennis?
Yeah, they reported there last night too, 78 cents, which was in line here. Stock, obviously, they want a little bit more out of it because they are whacking it down here, and it's coming into a key support area though. So they got this on the positive side there,
Yep.
Joe.
Yeah, they've got it on the positive side. Sentiment is positive this morning with high volume.
That 56, you got to respect. Actually, you got a double bottom, almost 56.40, 56.29 from the last couple of days, and they were lining up there at 56.50 ahead of that area. So obviously, that's going to be support here, and that's a big level that needs to hold.
Big spike. Spiked it up over $58 on the headline, 58.72, and then on that 15 minutes later, you made a low under the 56 area. Let's see, you made a low at the pre-market at 56.42. That corresponds with the two lows from yesterday. So I mean, this would want if you're buying it, trying to scoop it up here, 56 and a half, 56.40. You might take a little heat down to the lower 56s.
What's the score?
And
Okay, go ahead.
go ahead. Symantec, it's been on there for a couple of days, so it might have run its course, but it's SYMC.
And that's positive.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Look at that $20 level in Symantec, Joel. That is just a rock. That's just been rock solid here. How many times in the month of April did we bottom right almost near 20? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Looks like 8 or 9 times. Bottoms right in the low 20s.
Yeah, what was the company? Was it FireEye yesterday that we kind of thought was a little bit, in the same sector? And FireEye obviously got killed here, but this one's been sleepy, but been holding a $20 level, trading up 27 cents in pre-market. I mean, this is one of the ones that you can, buying a breakout, buying like the 2080s, 2090s, just hasn't really produced any results. I also see another high at 21, but. Light volume, have it trading up. I mean, if it's come down to 20 that much, maybe try and get it at the close or a little bit of a pullback.
All right, Gap.
Okay.
Love the blue jeans. So high volume and high sentiment. Look, guys, they're positive, 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 and that one's been a bit choppy because it's been on the bottom list. It's been on the bottom list. It's been on the top list, and it's been in the middle. But today, people are liking it after it gapped yesterday and then kind of filled that gap.
Okay.
Although you guys are the technical guys.
Okay.
Gap likes to gap, and it's going to gap here again today. Is it going to fill that gap? There's a lot of gaps there.
So, Joe, I'm just curious, and this is going back a little bit, on, the day that the lockup on Twitter there, what was the sentiment on Twitter about
Oh, let's
Twitter?
go.
Yeah.
Great question.
Yeah,
So let's.
because it was it was kind of a sneaky lockup. No one was going to sell. Some Adventist traders,
Yeah.
got it rocking in the pre-market, and it just never looked back. So I was wondering what your sentiment.
Twitter started going negative May 3rd.
Really?
That's when the sentiment really started bottoming out. And Twitter, as of right now, is, let's see, that's one that
May 3rd.
obviously
That
everyone.
was
Right before the lockup was
yeah.
going
That
to
was a
expire.
Saturday. Do you run this stuff on Saturday?
Yeah, we're 24/7.
Oh,
You see a lot of news. Hang on a second, guys. You see a lot of news breaking on Saturday. For example, the Walmart bribery scandal, South American bribery scandal, that broke on Saturday morning at 3 a.m. So we're publishing sentiment 24/7,
huh?
and people are tweeting about it. And you obviously get a drop off in volume, but you will get breaking news on Twitter on the weekend for sure.
And
Twitter's positive today.
yeah,
2 standard deeps today.
2 upgrades today too. So a little bit of follow through off of Morgan Stanley yesterday. You got Bernstein and Bank of America both upgrading the stock here today. So analysts are starting to jump on the Twitter bandwagon.
they've waited though. They've waited.
Well,
there
some
are a
of them
couple
didn't.
there are a couple of some of the big names that we normally talk about. That obviously Green Mountain Coffee's been on there for a couple of days.
Positive.
Yeah, 2.877. General Motors is a 2, and General Motors is one of those sleepy companies that just never shows up either way. And that's kind of interesting that it's on there.
Actually, it is interesting. That General Motors chart, Joel, bring that one up. That one does look interesting here. That's consolidated here for 1, 2, 3, 4 days. Lows all kind of in the same area, 34.50, 34.60 area. Close 34.85. I'm going to go see if there's an imbalance on that thing here this morning. It's trading up a nickel. 14,000 shares to buy. Do have somebody line up though. 34.90, 25,000 the buck. 35.05, another 25,000 the buck. So it looks like probably the same institution trying to dump 50,000 shares, 15 cents apart, but might open below above that area.
This GM, a lot of except for that blip down when Mary Barra was on getting grilled by the government. You've really been holding like the 33.50 to 35.50 range, and now it's kind of right in the middle. Got the 35.43 yesterday, but those are pretty sizable sellers for GM though under 35, 34.85 close.
What about
interesting
Apple,
negative
Joe?
one.
What about
Apple's always. Yeah, Apple's 1.2, so slightly positive. Just some of the big names that we normally talk about. Apple, 1.24. Google, slightly negative, not statistically significant. Facebook is slightly negative. Sorry, guys, I got allergies. IBM is slightly negative. One that they ask about, and it's not one that I normally follow, but URZ. That's one that comes up on the show every once in a while, and we don't get a lot of volume on that. And that's a negative 0.54, and we've got some volume today. So it's not statistically significant on the S-score, but the volume's higher than normal.
And what about the 3D printing stock, SSYS? Is getting killed in the pre-market. You getting any kind of reading on that?
SSYS is positive, 2.3.
So really? They think they might come in and actually buy this thing off the hop.
Yeah.
The bottom pickers might come in and saying,
And what about Ralph Lauren?
You got it right, Joel. Lauren.
All right, let's see what we got for
That's how we say it in Canada. Ralph Lauren.
RL, yep, Ralph Larry.
Real choppy this morning. There's no solid sentiment. So right now the sentiment is 0.768 positive, but as of an hour ago it was negative 0.23. So there isn't a lot of strong sentiment either way. So they're talking about the revenues up 6.8% or something. So it looks like they're talking about an earnings report 4 minutes ago.
Yeah,
right?
Ace, at 8:30 I think it broke. Ace, are you still trading Ralph Lauren? He was trading in our chat there. He was looking at that one. So, Joe, is there anything else that's statistically significant here that we should know of?
Yeah, let me just jump through some of these. On the bottom side, obviously Tesla's there. Morgan Stanley's on the negative side. Sands Corp, Las Vegas Sands, they're Power Secure, and then BHP. So it's gonna be an interesting day. It's still looking very positive. I could go on the positive side for probably another 30 stocks and still have it be statistically significant. So I think we're moving higher today.
Okay, and Joe, I just want to ask you about, this is a pretty heavily traded stock, but Merck has just gotten lit up here over the last 4 or 5 trading sessions. I don't know, just made like a 6-year high, and then all of a sudden, at least the sentiment in the market has really changed. It's taken this thing from 59.84 down to 54.72, and now we're just kind of hanging out here in the pre-market. Did you see anything trending in Merck earlier in the week, or
still Merck has been negative for quite a while. So so Merck has been negative since the 5th.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the last significant positive was back in end of April. So in April 30th, it got up to 3.39, and it's really been nothing but bad news since.
So what do you think? You think there's more power in your tool? Follow. I think it's something that you got to follow over the course of a couple days. I think if you just hop in and on one day hit and miss, I really think that's where the true value is.
Yeah, I think you asked a lot of good questions. When did it show up on the list? So you do get pivot points. Pivot points are the most powerful. Green Mountain Coffee's been on there for a couple of days, so everyone's familiar with that. Tesla, things like So when you get a pivot going positive to negative or negative to positive, that's where you start seeing a lot of predictive power in that. It's something that our clients are using as a tool in their toolbox, and they've been this morning. There's been a lot of activity on the Edge report. Things have been moving in and out. And I think there's a lot of good trading opportunities. So some of them stay on there for a while. Some of them move around. I think that healthcare was really interesting today because it was a deviation from the norms. So you normally don't see them grouping as tightly as they are there. So when you're getting the Edge report for a while, you start seeing anomalies like that more clearly.
And I'll just say, Joe, we've had about a 3-point rally while you've been on the show. So, so if you want to be a short-term trader with Joe Gits, our special guest here on Friday shows, usually at 8:35 a.m. when his traveling permits it. Joe Gits, President and CEO of Social Market Analytics, discussing what's going on in the Twitter sphere. Joe, thanks a lot for coming on.
Thanks, guys. Favorite half hour of the week.
Okay, we'll talk to you next week.
See you guys. Have a good one. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks, Joe.